Homework number 25. For questions 1 through 4, you're asked to find the rate of change, or the slope, when given the specific points. You're going to use this slope formula to help you do that. It's basically a giant subtraction fraction, where you take the y values and put them in the numerator to find their difference, and take the x values in the same order and put them in the denominator to find the difference. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's going to give us 2 over negative 3. Same thing for the next question. A giant subtraction fraction, then y minus y over x minus x. This time, we get a 0 in the denominator. And anytime you have a 0 in your fraction, you have to go one step further and interpret it. A 0 in the denominator is undefined. Number 3. Start with your giant subtraction fraction and do y minus y over x minus x. This time, we get a 0 in the numerator. And a 0 in the numerator means that the answer is actually 0. The last one, start your giant subtraction fraction. Y minus y over x minus x is going to give us negative 2 over 13. Leave it in fraction form. Numbers 5, 6, and 7 ask you to write the slope-intercept form of the equation shown in the graph. So for number 5, we have a y-intercept here of 3. And if I find another perfect corner point, like right here, I can count the rise, and then I can count the run. My rise is 5, my run is 3. So my equation will be a rate of change of 5 over 3, that goes with x, and then my y-intercept of positive 3 goes at the end. I'll do the same thing for question 6. I've got my y-intercept here, which is 4. And if I find another perfect corner point here, I can count the rise and run. This time, the rise is negative 3, and the run is positive 2. So that gives me a slope of negative 3 over 2 with an x. And positive 4 is my y-intercept. The last one is a horizontal line. And anytime you have a horizontal line, your slope would be 0. So we don't even need to write the x, but we do need to write the y-intercept, which is negative 1. For question 8, you need to find the missing angle measures. Now some of them you can find because you know they are supplementary, like angle 48 and D. So mentally or on a calculator, I'm going to compute that 48 plus D has to be equal to 180. So when I subtract 48 from both sides, I get my answer for angle D. Now I'm going to find the measure of angle B, because that's also something that I know. The 3 angles inside of a triangle always have to add up to 180 degrees. So if I have 58 and 48, that means I have a total of 106. You can use a calculator if you need to. And when I subtract 106 from both sides, I get that angle B is going to be equal to 74 degrees. So now I've found 2 of the angles I need. Now we have to figure out how to find the other missing angles. These are a little bit harder. I know that the 3 of these together make 180, but I only currently know one of these angles. And I only currently know this angle here as well. Whoops, this one is 132. So what I need to think about, as stated in my hint here, is if I extend the sides of the triangle a little bit longer, I might be able to find some alternate interior angles. So if this interior angle here is 48, that means C will also be 48, because alternate interior angles are congruent. And if I know that this is 74 and this is 48, then I can find angle A because they're supplementary. I can also find angle A by extending the triangle line on this side, because that means that A is an alternate interior angle to 58. So angle A is 58 degrees. Questions 9 and 10 ask you to solve the equation. So for number 9, I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and then I'm going to divide both sides by -5. Now I can leave my answer as an improper fraction like this, or I can convert it to a decimal by using a calculator, or I can turn it into a mixed number. All three of these are acceptable responses. Now number 10 is quite long, so I'm going to start on the left-hand side here by distributing this -1/2. Now be careful, you need to take this negative sign along with the fraction. So I'm going to leave the 3.2 alone. I'm going to multiply -1/2 times x, and I might convert this to a decimal, since 3.2 is a decimal. Then I'll multiply -1/2 by 4. And then on the other side, I'm just going to rewrite everybody the way that they are. Now that I'm done distributing and getting rid of my parentheses and changing everything to decimals, I see that I have some like terms on the left and I have some like terms on the right. And when terms are alike and they are on the same side of the equal sign, you simply perform the math that it says to do. So here it's 3.2 minus 2. And that would give us 1.2. And the minus 0.5x will just come down. On the right-hand side, I have 4.8 minus 5.2. Right? You see that minus sign in front of the 5.2? That's what you're going to do. And that gives me negative 0.4x, and the plus 2 will just come down. Now I'm going to add 0.5x on both sides. And you have lots of options here. You don't have to do plus 0.5x. But I'm going to choose to do that because when I do so, it gives me a positive x on the right-hand side. Now I'm going to subtract 2. That gives me actually a negative 0.8. And now I'm going to divide by 0.1. And now my x is isolated. And I'm going to get a negative 8. That's a nice looking answer. Didn't think it was going to be that pretty. Question number 11, 12, and 13 ask you to graph the linear function. So the y-intercept is 1, so I start by putting a dot at 1 on the y-axis, and the slope is 2, or 2 over 1. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. You can always reverse the up and right to be down and left, down and left. Again, the same values, down 2, left 1. Don't forget to label your line. For number 12, I don't have a y-intercept, so that means it's 0. This time, my slope is negative 3 over 1. So down 3, but then I have to move positive 1 in the denominator. So down 3, right 1. Can reverse it. Up 3, left 1. And don't forget to label your line. The last one doesn't have an x or a y-intercept. Or actually, it does. The y-intercept is negative 3. And since there is no x, that means the slope is 0. Question number 14 tells you that you've got a point negative 5, 4, and that you're going to dilate it by a scale factor of 2. It wants to know the new prime point for negative 5, 4. Well, all you have to do is multiply every coordinate by 2. So a prime will be negative 10, 8. Number 15 asks us to compare which function has a greater rate of change. And it asks you to show how you determined your answer. I don't have to do any work for a, which is why it doesn't say to do any work. Because all you have to do is look with your eyes at the coefficient of x. So the slope here is 5/4. And if I used my calculator to divide 5 by 4, I would get 1.25. But for function b, I need to use the slope formula. And I think I'll use these 2 points. So 4.5 minus 3 over 15 minus 10. That's going to give me 1.5 over 5. I'm going to need to divide that on a calculator. So 1.5 divided by 5 is 0.3. So I know that 1.25 is greater than 0.3. So function a is greater because 1.25 is greater than 0.3. And that concludes homework number 25.